school students. It's very important because Stand Your Ground has targeted young African Americans based on how they look, based on how they're dressing, and no one should be targeted because of how they dress or who they are or how they look. And representing the Ohio Student Association is James Hayes, and we'd like for him to say a word because this directly affects young people in the state of Ohio.
My name is James Hayes. I'm an organizer with the Ohio Student Association. OSA is a statewide network of young people who organizes, we advocate for our issues, and we get training across the state to build local and statewide power to advance social, economic, and racial justice. Our collective vision is an Ohio where systems and institutions and communities conspire for the health and success of our children. We fight for a world in line with our values through concrete policy and cultural change. When the Trayvon Martin verdict hit my community, OSA grieved here in Columbus with 500 members, crying out for our legislators to stop Stand Your Ground from coming to Ohio. When the Kill It Will bill was being crafted for our state, we brought hundreds of people here to the State House to stand with 9 City Council resolutions saying that our communities stand for unity, not for violence. When the bill was in committee, we delivered thousands of petition signatures along with the Ohio Legislative Black Caucus against this legislation. Our voices have been silenced. Today, the Ohio House will be voting to bring the Shoot First law here to Ohio. Not more than 2 weeks after Renisha McBride became the latest victim of this type of Shoot First law, our state is still pushing forward with Stand Your Ground. As other states are beginning to revisit this law and consider making changes, our state is pushing forward with Stand Your Ground. Without the support of police associations or legal professionals or faith groups, students, in the face of opposition from every major urban city, our state is still pushing forward with Stand Your Ground. The questions I have are why, and whose interests does this law serve? Like many others, I first heard about Stand Your Ground in the spring of 2012, after George Zimmerman shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida. The facts are well known, but regardless of what your sentiments are regarding that particular case, it is clear that Stand Your Ground laws have neither served to protect human life nor produce more secure communities. And as a young black man living in the post-Trayvon world, I have real concerns about the racial implications of Stand Your Ground. Research suggests that negative racial associations can lead people to see danger where none exists. Shooter studies have documented that race affects the decision-making of subjects asked to make split-second decisions about whether to discharge a weapon in self-protection. This research has established that many people stereotypically associate African Americans, especially young black men, with violence and weapons, causing them in simulations to fire guns more often when presented with images of unarmed black persons and less often when facing images of armed white persons. Just this past spring in Columbus, there was a situation similar to what transpired in Florida. According to the Columbus Dispatch, Xavier Brandon, a 16-year-old honor student from New Albany, was walking his usual route to preseason football practice on May 28th when a resident of Hilltop Trail Drive thought he looked suspicious. A house in the northeast side neighborhood had been broken into between 8:30 a.m. and 12:40 p.m. when the homeowner returned and discovered the crime. About the same time, Mike Eberts, who lives in the neighborhood, saw Brandon walking by and called 911. There's someone walking down the street who might have something to do with this, he told the police dispatcher. It might just be a coincidence that he's walking by, but it sure looks suspicious to me. He told the dispatcher he would follow the youth in his car. It seems all too likely to me that if House Bill 203 becomes law, situations like this one could turn deadly, as with the Zimmerman case in Florida. Furthermore, many supporters of this law cite statistics that show in Florida that African Americans and Latinos successfully avail themselves using this law at a higher rate than whites. They claim that those groups who are most often the victims of violent crime, including low-income African Americans, stand to benefit from stronger self-defense laws. I find this to be a cynical and destructive attitude. The solution to violence in my community is not more violence, even retributive violence. We need restorative measures. We need jobs and health care and living wages. We need mental health facilities and fair hiring policies and equitable access to quality education. We do not need laws which encourage individuals to fight fire with fire, and to suggest otherwise is as offensive as it is nearsighted. As this bill moves over into the Senate, the Ohio Student Association will continue to raise the voices of young people who are likely to be affected, and I believe that we will win.